Hi, welcome to today's live stream. I'm Dr. Simeon Roger, and we're going to be talking today, as you've seen, about the sign that you are about to succeed, the sign that things are about to shift, things are changing. And it's a very definite sign, something you can not only be aware of, consciously be aware of, it's something you can, to a certain extent, engineer, which is even better. I think you'll agree. So years ago, when I was first starting out in my entrepreneurial journey, I was really struggling. I was completely lost. I had no idea what I was doing. I was way out of my comfort zone. Didn't know what to do next. Really not getting very far. Doing a lot of activity, but very little result. Not sure what to do. And then one day, for some reason, I felt like a vision, a purpose, a definite vision, a definite purpose took over my psyche. This was something I couldn't stop thinking about. It was just, oh wow, if I could do this, it would be so cool. And I really thought I could do it. It was something I thought I could do. And actually, what it was arranging a summit of speakers, getting really getting some of the top names in the world in the area of mindset, peak performance, to come and speak at a summit that I would arrange, a virtual summit. And as it happened, this summit called the Mindset Boot Camp at the time, the Mindset Boot Camp, um, it was really amazing. Once this vision took over, everything shifted, and it shifted immediately. It was radical. It was absurd. It was almost like one day to the next. Um, and it meant several specific things. First of all, it meant I no longer had to push myself. It felt like in my business, I was not pushing myself. I was being pulled along by a powerful force that almost compelled me to take action. I couldn't resist it. I couldn't. I couldn't not only didn't want to fight it, but I couldn't fight it. And then, of course, the second thing was actions began to get results. Now, that didn't mean everything worked. There were setbacks. There were some people who didn't want to participate. There were two or three people I called who were actually rude. Um, Not all celebrity type people are really pleasant. So yeah, I mean, there were setbacks, but none of the setbacks phased me in the least. Instead, I kept coming across new doors that would open, new opportunities that would open. I kept coming across collaborators, guests who would say, "Look, I can help you get guests that you probably can't get, but I could persuade them because I know them." Okay, so there was, so things like this would happen. It was really, really amazing. And so when things are about to shift, there is this moment that happens, and it may not be such a discrete moment as it was for me, but basically you end up in a situation that I would call joyous obsession. Yeah, you really do have to become obsessed with the vision of what you want to create. When you become obsessed with it, joyfully obsessed, that's the sign, the sure sign that things are shifting. Now, obsessed, of course, implies that in a sense, you've kind of lost control, right? And that's okay. You've kind of lost control because, as I said, this vision was such a powerful force. It was so overwhelming. It seemed so pleasant, so delightful. I couldn't not think about it. It was always intruding on my consciousness. I was always thinking about it, always thinking about how cool this was going to be. And indeed, it really was very cool, and it was very successful. Um, but it was something I had to build over a, relatively, I would say, a period of probably about 7 or 8 months. That's how long it took to realize the whole thing. But that's okay. It was all great. It was just amazing. So that was the obsession. But you have to get to this stage of being joyfully obsessed with what you're trying to do. Kind of think of um, oh boy, what's his name? Darn, the guy who created SpaceX originally. No, not SpaceX. That's Elon Musk. I meant the X Prize. So the X Prize, Peter Diamandis. The X Prize uh, is basically was like a $10 million prize for originally a $10 million prize for someone who would devise a way to go to Mars. Okay, and so you can tell when you read about Peter's description of what he was doing, how incredible it was for him. And that's one example where even though there were huge setbacks, he kept going because he couldn't imagine not doing this. Now, I hear what you're saying. The objection is, of course, okay, well, that's all very nice. That's wonderful, but that's not where I'm at, right? It's not where I'm at. I don't have that wonderful magical force that's come and has taken over my psyche and has pulled me into this joyous obsession. I'm at the stage of having to push, basically. And look, I've been there. I understand that. And the truth is, I see the Mindset Bootcamp in retrospect as a really kind of rare gift, because since then, to recreate that kind of joyful obsession, I've really had to work quite a bit harder at it in order to do that. But it's really important to be able to put yourself in that situation and be able to do it on demand and not rely on some, apparently magical force that just happens. So, how do you do that? Well, the first step is understanding what you want to do. It's having a purpose. What is your purpose? And when I say what is your purpose, I mean, what are you trying to achieve now? I'm not talking about your magical life purpose. I actually don't believe in a life purpose. I think that kind of thing is overrated. But what are you trying to do now? What are you trying to build, contribute, develop? What are you trying to do? So having a crystal clear idea of what that is. And that really implies two things. One is a description, or a statement rather, of your purpose, a statement of your purpose. Now, our purpose here for me and my team is very simple. It's to free 1 million minds, to free 1 million minds. Now, to me, that's a really exciting purpose, that 1 million people could become internally free, could become really truly peak performers, could become everything they're meant to be. um, that to me is exciting. But whatever yours is, there's a statement. You need to have a statement of your purpose, but beyond the statement, you need also a description of what that end state will look like. If you're trying to build something, you have to know what that end state is going to be. I think of some of the great masters of mindset. People like Charles Hannell, for example, back in the early 20th century, he interviewed, uh, one of the people he interviewed was a great industrialist who had built a huge rail network. And he asked him specifically, did you envision this before it happened? And he said, yes, so absolutely. I had a vision of the whole thing. And he said, well, in how much detail? And the guy answered him, in very great detail. So you really want the description of what this is going to look like as an end state. You want to be able to focus on that, feel it, live in it, live from it. That's really vital, in addition to that statement of purpose. So what you can do right now is those two things. One is you can experiment to find a purpose that really sets you on fire. What is that purpose? Turn it into a statement that excites you again. And then from there, go on to describe what this is going to look like. Once you do that, you're going to be navigating yourself toward this joyous obsession that's going to happen at some point. You'll still have to work at it. You'll still have to work at it. Now, I got, as I said, with the Mindset Bootcamp, and the reason I considered it a rare gift is because it was almost overnight when the idea occurred to me. I did not have to work at being obsessed with it. It grabbed me. But since then, it's been more of a case of understanding what the purpose is, and once it's there, working to keep that in front of me. And that's what most people have to do. We have to keep it in front of ourselves. It's not like it's intruding all the time in our consciousness, but we want it to intrude more and more. We want to be more and more in love with the idea, with what it represents, and what it's going to turn out like. That's it. So that's your homework essentially. If you really want to navigate yourself to this shift of joyous obsession, then that's where you start. I'm Dr. Simeon Roger. Just before we go, be sure to go to the link below where you can grab our Extreme Personal Effectiveness Roadmap. That ebook is ready there for you. You can grab it for free right now, at least, and do it now while it's still available. And yeah, that's it for now. And we'll see you next time.